Hi, it's Gerry, and welcome to day 238 of A Course in Miracles. The title for today is, On My Decision, All Salvation Rests. The prayer is, Father, your trust in me has been so great, I must be worthy. You created me and know me as I am. And yet you placed your Son's salvation in my hands, and let it rest on my decision. I must be beloved of you indeed, and I must be steadfast in holiness as well, that you would give your Son to me in certainty that he is safe, who still is part of you, and yet is me, because he is myself, capital S. Okay, I'll explain in a minute. The reflection says, and so again today, we pause to think how much our Father loves us and how dear his Son, created by his love, remains to him whose love is made complete in him. It sounds confusing, but it's basically the principle of free will, that God made me and is part of me, so who still is part of you. That is myself. I am part of God. But at the same time, I have free will. I make the decision. God entrusts me with free will. So everything rests on my decision. Am I going to follow God's will, or am I going to go my own way? Am I going to believe what I know to be true in God, or am I going to believe illusions? The choice is mine. And that's what this is all about. And God puts his trust in me, as I said. And yet you placed your Son's salvation in my hands. I believe it's the Son he's talking about is me. Because I read a little bit about A Course in Miracles. It's not just Jesus, but it's also me as a son or a child of God. So I decide on my salvation. God gives me that responsibility. And God puts trust in me. And you know, I can't help but be thankful for that and humbled by that. And then the prayer says, we pause to think how much our Father loves us. He loves us so much that he gives us free will. And how dear his Son, how dear I am to God, created by his love, remains to him whose love is made complete in me. In other words, when there's real love, we don't force people to love us back. We let them choose. And that's what God is doing here for me out of love, giving me free will as an act of love. That's how I interpret this lesson. And I think that's the case because that is consistent with some theology that I've learned. And it makes sense. God gives us free will. So for me, of course, I want to follow God. I want to use that free will to be who God created me to be, because I find such tremendous joy and peace in that. So thank you so much for joining me today. May God bless you abundantly, and I look forward to our conversation tomorrow. Peace be with you.